The war did not begin with a public blow, but with the moment one person suddenly realized that one standing before them had never been prey at all, but a beast driven to the edge of a cliff. In Uptown, the encounter between Hayley and Lynette carried exactly that feeling. On the surface, Hayley was still the woman who had won nearly every important game. She had Bill, she had status, she had a marriage glamorous enough to blind the world, and most importantly, she had once used her husband's influence to wipe away Lynette's legal troubles without paying any price for it. But victories that come too easily are often what expose a person's true nature the fastest. And Hayley's greatest mistake was believing that once she had pulled someone out of the mud, she automatically had the right to control that person's silence forever. Lynette no longer looked at Hayley as a benefactor, but as a fraud trembling beneath a flawless layer of gloss. She had seen what others had not through some dramatic piece of evidence, but through small and dangerous details. The chilling calculation in the way Hayley approached Bill, the suspicious haste of a marriage that was supposed to be born from love, and the flash of panic that appeared whenever Thomas moved closer to the loose ends connected to the past. That is why the confrontation between these two women was no longer a collision between former accomplices, but the moment they both understood that only one of them could walk away intact. Lynette knew too much to be soothed any longer, while Hayley was far too greedy to understand where to stop. She did not just want to keep Bill. She wanted to keep the power, the safety, the disguise, and everything she had stolen through lies. What made Hayley dangerous was not simply that she lied, but that she had begun to believe she deserved the lie. Bill was no longer just a wealthy husband to cling to, but a shield protecting an even darker motive, a long game that, if exposed, would not only destroy this marriage, but also shatter Hayley's position in the world she had worked so hard to climb into. So when Lynette threatened to reveal the truth, Hayley did not see her as a disloyal friend, but as the living evidence that needed to be erased. The anger inside Hayley no longer came from her, but from humiliation, from the shame of being seen through by someone who had once shared her secrets. It was the kind of fury that could drive a person to do things from which there was no return. But Hayley's tragedy was that things were no longer fully within her control. Thomas had already been suspicious, and with only one more missing piece, he could trace Lynette back not as some random woman Bill had helped, but as a direct link to Hayley's real scheme. Worse still, if Kat were to overhear that confrontation, her instinct for hunting the truth would almost certainly awaken again. Kat was not the kind of person who could sit still when faced with a story that had too many cracks in it. If she stepped in, this secret would no longer remain a private bargain between two women, but would become an expanding war in which everyone could wield the truth like a blade. At that point, Hayley would be forced to choose between silencing Lynette, manipulating Bill even more aggressively, or striking first against anyone who began to see too much. Bill was the most tragic piece on the board in all of this. He might not know the whole truth yet, but a man like Bill could not remain blind forever. The change in Hayley, the baseless tension, her fixation on Thomas, and the sense that every problem kept circling back to the same suspicious pattern would eventually plant doubt in him. And when a man realizes he may have not been chosen out of love, but targeted as a part of a plan, that collapse is crueler than ordinary betrayal. It does not just destroy a marriage, it destroys pride. If Bill begins investigating Hayley in return, she will not only lose the husband she has been clinging to, but also the greatest shield of power she has ever had. So the question is no longer what Hayley will do next, but how far she is willing to go to preserve a life built on deception. She may continue playing the role of pressured wife. She may turn Bill against Thomas. She may smear Lynette as an ungrateful opportunist. She may even manufacture a new crisis to draw attention away from the truth. But people who live by schemes often lose at the very point of their greatest strength. They become so used to controlling others that they fail to notice when fear becomes controlling them. And once that happens, mistakes come one after another. If the secret explodes into the open, the first to fall may be Hayley, because every mask will come off at once. It may also be Bill, because he will have to face the truth that both his heart and his reputation were used. Or more cruelly, anyone who once stood beside Hayley may be dragged down with her in the collapse. Hayley once turned Thomas's life into a living hell, but now her real hell is only beginning, because for the first time, the person holding the secret is no longer afraid of her. Lynette has seen the fracture running through that marriage. Kat may be the one to tear it wider. Thomas may be the one to uncover the truth, and Bill may be the final blade that severs everything. And when a woman who has always won through deception is forced to fight to keep everything, she rarely retreats with dignity. She plunges even deeper into darkness. That is what makes this game so dangerous. Hayley may lose everything, but before she falls, she is fully capable of dragging down everyone who has laid a hand on her secret.